Welcome to my channel. 2013 Lac-Megantic train disaster. A big thanks to my viewer who kindly suggested this content. It was on July 5 that train engineer, Thomas Harding, an employee of the Montreal Main and Atlantic Railway Company, parked a train for the night in the town of Nantes. The train was composed of locomotives and 72 tanker cars, thought to be carrying 8 million liters of crude oil. The oil was for refineries in New Brunswick. When Thomas Harding parked the train, he kept its locomotive running, which maintained the air braking system. However, it is believed that he did not apply enough handbrakes and left the train improperly secured on a downward slope as he left for the evening. After he had left for the evening, it is reported that a fire broke out on the main locomotive. Firefighters responded to the fire and it was extinguished. However, when the firefighters left the train's air brakes were no longer working as the engine had shut off. It was just before 1 in the morning of July 6 that the train slowly began moving on its own. It was heading towards the town of Lac-Megantic. The train is thought to have reached speeds of 100 km per hour. As the train came to the center of Lac-Megantic, it derailed. Crude oil leaked from the derailed tankers, which exploded, killing 47 people and causing an evacuation of 2,000 people from their homes. A large part of the town center was completely destroyed by the explosion. Crude oil continued to leak into the nearby Chaudière River, raising concerns about the long-term damage to the waterway and wildlife. People who were on the terrace at Moussi Café witnessed the tanker cars leave the track and tried to flee to safety, as oil caused a ball of fire. Some people even jumped from the third floor trying to escape the fire. Around 150 firefighters were deployed to the scene. After 20 hours, the center of the fire was still inaccessible to firefighters. Pools of burning fuel were still on fire. The unexploded tanker cars were doused with water to try and prevent these from exploding also. Even after 36 hours, these were still at risk of exploding. 42 bodies were found, and had to be sent to Montreal to help be identified. Family members were asked to provide DNA samples of those missing, as well as dental records. 5 victims were never found. The railway company responsible did not have enough assets or insurance to pay damages to the victims, and the company was forced into bankruptcy shortly afterwards. Victims launched a class action lawsuit against several companies who were connected with the disaster. It is believed that around 25 companies were involved, with a total of $450 million put into a settlement fund for the victims. The only company who refused to pay was Canadian Pacific Railway, who claimed it had no responsibility in the disaster. The train engineer, Thomas Harding, and 2 other employees, Richard Labrie and Jean Demaitre, were arrested in 2014. They were charged with criminal negligence causing the death of 47 people. Their trial began in October 2017. Thomas Harding was accused of not applying enough handbrakes to the train before he left for the evening, as well as parking the train and its load dangerously on a slope. Thomas Harding admitted to improperly securing the train, but claimed that this was the standard practice at the train company. He also claimed that there had been no signs of a fire when he left that evening. After 9 days of deliberations, the jury finally reached a verdict of not guilty. After the disaster, the government set out new safety standards for all new rail cars, and implemented a timeline for all older tank cars to be refitted with new safety features to help stop them from exploding if they were to be derailed. Stricter speed limits were also introduced in rural and urban areas. Trains are also now required to have electronic braking systems fitted. A memorial was erected to remember those victims involved in this disaster. It is believed that the cleanup from this disaster could take several years. Our thoughts go out to those families who lost loved ones in this disaster, and all those who were affected. May you never be forgotten. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel to view other content.